Hi, I'm Lori Dawson. Welcome to my kitchen. And today we're going to pick several recipes off of the Cook at Home blog and fix those for a nice little brunch. So the first thing we're going to do is head out to the garden to get some rosemary. So come on, let's go. My rosemary is the only thing besides citrus that's still surviving. We didn't plant a garden last year and we didn't put in any winter grass. So this is a nice healthy rosemary bush, and we're going to harvest some sprigs for some of the recipes that we're going to use. And I'm using my favorite handy dandy kitchen scissors from Pampered Chef. So I ended up needing both hands to cut the rosemary. So as you can see, my scissors did the job and we have some rosemary sprigs to use. All right. So I'm on the Cook at Home blog with my iPad to get my recipes, and the first one we're going to do is the maple bacon carrots. So next I'm going to use my same scissors to cut open my package of bacon from Costco. And I'm going to use the rock crock stone. Here's my carrots that I washed and patted dry. There's 3, and there's 4. So I'm just going to take this bacon and wrap it around my carrot. I'm going to pull on it just a little bit to kind of thin it out, because this is actually thick sliced bacon, and I think thin would probably work a little better for this recipe. So now I've got a little bit of maple syrup, and I'm just going to brush some on my carrots here. And then we're going to bake this at 400 for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to brush it with some more syrup. And then we'll bake it another 15 minutes and it'll be done. Okay, so next, while we're waiting for the carrots to cook, we are going to start the shrimp mushrooms. So I've gotten out my pot. It's like a steamer. Add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pot to make steam to cook my shrimp. Steamer basket. So there we've got our shrimp in the pot. I'm going to put the lid on and put it on high on the stove. So when I was at the store today, I couldn't find the great big portobello mushrooms like I wanted, so I'm just going to use a bunch of smaller ones. So to grate my cheese, I'm going to put my fine grater in this position, and I need about 2 tablespoons. So the cool thing about these mats is I can just bend it and get the cheese right into my bowl where I need it. We're going to zest a lemon. So now I'm going to reposition my grater so that it's straight out. So I'm going to use the same one I used for the cheese to do the lemon, just in a different position. Go. And I did go ahead and buy some chive and onion cream cheese that's already pre-mixed. So we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of that. We're going to press a small clove of garlic. And I don't have Dijon, so I'm just using a little bit of what I have. So this is an old bowl from Pampered Chef from a long time ago that I put my shrimp in. And it's kind of fun because they get they make different products and then they change it up and do something else. So there's always something new and interesting to do. So these shrimp are really hot, but I'm just going to pop their tails off. And I'm just going to cut these shrimp up with my food chopper. So that was pretty simple. Now I'm going to take them from my flexible mat into my bowl, just like I did with the cheese. So that's made like a nice paste, which will be really easy to put into our mushrooms. So I'm just going to wash up a few mushrooms. And this is my salad spinner, but it's got this really nice little colander basket in it, so it's perfect. So I'm going to give those a little wash. And then we'll just put them on a nice clean towel. This is the smallest baking dish that I have, so I'm just going to take the stems out of these mushrooms and, whoops, get some water in there still. Turn them upside down to drain out the rest of the water. And then you can save your stems for soup, or you can just discard them. Today I'm just going to discard them. I think I might need a few more mushrooms, because I've got quite a bit of filling. Let's see. How about you? And I already dumped out my rinsing water, so I'm just going to rinse them at the sink, and I'll be right back. Squeeze my 8 little mushrooms in there. So this is our shrimp filling going into our mushrooms. Put up just a little bit more on that one. And then we're going to bake this for 18 to 20 minutes until the filling is hot and the crumbs are golden brown. So I'm going to flatten those just a little bit so we can put a little bit more on that one. So we got a place for our crumbs to land. So I put my butter into a little prep bowl, and I'm just going to stick that in the microwave real quick. And then while we're waiting on the butter, I just pulled the carrots out of the oven. I'm going to brush them with another coating of maple syrup. So here's my breadcrumbs and my butter mixed together. The recipe is on the blog, so you guys can go there to find it. So now I'm just adding the butter and breadcrumbs onto the top of my mushrooms filled with shrimp. And again, the garlic is in the cream cheese mixture and shrimp mixture, so you can do it either way. You can put it in just the topping, or you can put it in the shrimp mixture and have a little more garlic flavor. There we go. Perfect. And those are ready to pop in the oven. The Rosemary Limeade. So we're going to juice 6 limes. And actually, I'm just going to do a half batch of this too. So I'm going to do 3 limes. So I'm going to cut my limes in half. And then I'm going to put the halves upside down in the press here and squeeze. And the other nice thing about doing it this way is it keeps all of our juice going down through the holes in the bottom of the, oops, it's probably kind of hard to see, and mine is kind of old and scarred, but there's holes in the bottom. You can probably see better this way. And that keeps, by putting it face down, it keeps all the juice going that direction. Otherwise, it's all over the place. 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I'm doing half of a batch, so it's going to be a bit more like 1/3 of a cup. And because I want to drink this limeade today, and I forgot to do this earlier, I'm actually going to zest a lime into my mixture to give it more lime flavor, because the recipe calls for putting the lime peels into the mixture and leaving it that way overnight, but I want to drink it today. So this is going to be my little way to get more lime flavor there. So I've got lots of rosemary that I picked and brought in. So I'm just going to take a few of these sprigs and just drop them right into my mixture here. Now I'm going to bring this to a simmer over medium heat, and then I'm going to drop it down to low and cook it until the sugar is completely dissolved. Now your recipe says to add the lime peel and the rosemary sprigs after you've gotten the sugar dissolved, but again, because I'm doing this quickly and I want a little bit more flavor, I'm going to actually just bring it to a boil with those in there. So you can do it either way. So the next thing we're going to mix up is rosemary crackers, and I'm just going to put everything into the food processor, process it, create a ball of dough, and I'll come back to you with the ball of dough. So here is my limeade mixture with my rosemary and my lime in there, coming to a boil. Just giving that a little bit of a stir to help make sure that we've got it all mixed in well and all that sugar's melting. Sorry, it's hard to drive a camera and I'm going to turn this down, whisk at the same time. One thing I will show you how to do is how I do the rosemary in the herb chopper. So I just pull this apart. So it's got a little ball inside, and it's heavy on purpose because it's going to ride down in here and it's going to help keep the rosemary feeding through the chopping blades. So for right now, it's going to go in this little cup, and I'm just going to strip some of the leaves off the rosemary because the the stems are really kind of tough and they're hard to grind. Dump this in here. There we go. So I'm going to put this back on so that ball is down inside my rosemary. I don't know if you can see it. Get one of these handy little prep bowls. And then I just kind of, this has like a key handle on the side. I just kind of work that back and forth, give it a little shake to get the ball on top of more rosemary. And it just grinds it up perfect. So I've got enough, and I've got my fresh ground rosemary. Okay, so I've got my baking stone and my parchment paper, and my paper is a little bit wide for my stone, so I'm just gonna tear off a piece. And I know the recipe says that you can do it on this and then transfer it to the stone. I'm gonna just do it right on the stone. So I'm gonna divide my dough into thirds, and I'm just gonna pop these other two in a Ziploc bag so they don't get dried out while I'm working with the first one. Okay, so I am going to roll out my dough, and I want it to be kind of brown, but it doesn't have to be exact. It could actually be any shape you want. It doesn't really matter. So be artistic and just play with it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. What we do want is for it to have about the same amount of thickness, or in this case thinness, all the way around. So the exact shape isn't really important. And now what I'm going to do is brush it with some olive oil. There's kind of a lot in that one spot, so I'm just going to spread it out. And the recipe says that you can, if you want to, you can sprinkle it with some more rosemary on top and then press it down gently. Got some flaky sea salt, kosher salt, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that on top. And it's ready to go in the oven. And I just took our maple bacon carrots out of the oven. They look perfectly done. So I'm going to drain them for a little bit on some paper towels on a plate, and then they're ready to eat. So with all this work in the kitchen, I'm getting a little thirsty, so I think it's time to fix a glass of Rosemary Limeade. Okay, so I filled a glass with ice. And I've got this little strainer gizmo. So remember again, this is, whoops, just half of a recipe that I did. So essentially what we're doing is we're making a flavored syrup, and then we're going to mix it with sparkling water and serve it over ice. So I'm going to pour some of my syrup into my glass, a little bit more because I like mine strong. And then what I picked up today was some Pellegrino water. Any sparkling water will do. Next, I'm going to give it a good stir because all my syrup went to the bottom. And then if you want it to be extra fancy, you could cut your limes into wedges, and you could take a sprig of your rosemary and kind of float it in the top. So let's give it a try. Oh wow, that is really, really good. So it's sugar and water, which makes a syrup, with some lime zest and some rosemary simmered in it while the sugar dissolved and it thickened. Just a really nice, refreshing flavored syrup mixed with some sparkling water. You guys, this is absolutely delicious. This is a really, really good recipe. Well, I just checked on the shrimp mushrooms and they're ready to come out of the oven. They're looking just perfect. And our first batch of bread is almost done as well. So here's the shrimp mushrooms. So here we have our shrimp stuffed mushrooms and our maple glazed bacon carrots. Here's our flatbread fresh out of the oven, and it's hot, so I'm gonna set it down. I love these cooling racks by Pampered Chef. They're stackable. So when you're doing cookies, you can go up instead of out, which takes up less space on your counter. So there's our first one. So after this cools, we're gonna break it into pieces, and it's gonna be just like a cracker. Really good. And the salt just makes it, and that rosemary flavor is just divine. So, I'm gonna make some jalapeno dip to go with this. Wow, these bacon carrots are amazing. I don't know, Jim might change his mind and decide to like carrots after this because it tastes more like bacon than anything else. It is delicious. So let's give a shrimp stuffed mushroom a try. Hot juice inside. Wow. That is really, really, really good. So we zested some lemon in here, and I can taste the lemon. It gives it a really nice fresh taste. That is the best stuffed mushroom I've ever had. So I want to show you guys something new I just got. It's the new, I don't know if you can see the design in there. The new nonstick pan by Pampered Chef. Stainless steel on the outside, special nonstick on the inside. That is not only dishwasher safe, but also you can use metal utensils in here without hurting it. So, and it's got like a lifetime, can't talk. lifetime guarantee. So we're gonna do our jalapeno dip in this pan. Okay, I brought you over to the stove so that you can watch me make the jalapeno cheese dip in the skillet instead of in a slow cooker, which is what I'm doing today. And I'm also having to do a little variation of this recipe, and I'll try and remember to write it down and post it for you guys as a second way to do it, because I didn't have any cream cheese. So I'm gonna make a roux, which is a base for any sauce that starts with melted butter and then adding a little bit of flour to it for thickener. Don't want to get too much because I don't want it gummy. So here I am using a metal utensil in a non-stick pan. Can you believe it? I'm going to wait for it to heat up just a little bit more. There, it's starting to sizzle. And I'm going to add some half and half. So this is what I'm doing instead of sour cream. So I'm just thickening a little bit of half and half. And this is the way I start all of my soups and sauces. Like Jim loves cheese sauce on veggies. This is how I do it. And then I would just add cheese to this. So instead, I haven't added cheese, and it is going to be kind of like a cheese sauce. It's going to be a jalapeno cheese dip. So we're going to add 8 ounces of cream cheese. Break this up a little bit so it melts faster. Should have done that before I put it in the pan. So again, the recipe calls for this in a slow cooker, and one of the reasons for that is so that you can keep it warm if you're having guests. And since I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes and for Jim and I to eat, I'm just going to do it in the skillet. So it's okay to improvise in the kitchen when you don't have sour cream and you don't feel like doing things in a slow cooker. So meanwhile, I'm waiting for that to melt. I'm going to add my garlic. Get out my garlic press. I'm also going to open my can of diced jalapenos. I could have used fresh and chopped them up. Today I opted to go ahead and go with the can. So my handy dandy Pampered Chef can opener that will open the can without leaving any sharp edges anywhere. So nobody's going to get cut on the lid that comes off the can or the can itself. I'm going to grab it with my little grabber. It's kind of gummy. Let's see if we can get some of that glue to let go if we do it again. There we go. Ta-da! It's off. And our chilies are in. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan and 2 cups of grated cheddar. And I'm going to turn this burner off because I haven't grated my cheese yet. My Parmesan I can just do with my fine grater right into the pan. My cheddar, I'm going to do 2 cups. I'm tempted to use a food processor. So this dip is cheese, cheese, and more cheese. And it's going to go really good with those rosemary crackers. Okay, here comes my cheddar cheese. Turn my burner back on. Fresh grated Parmesan, about, oops, my brick just broke, about 1/4 cup. This is making a nice thick cheese sauce. So we've got cream cheese, cheddar cheese, and Parmesan cheese in here. Okay, so I've got my cheese dip and my crackers done. And I'm just gonna take the rosemary out of this herb chopper and trade it for fresh cilantro. And snap it back together. And there we have fresh chopped cilantro on our cheese dip. Jalapeno cheese dip, no less. So the only thing you guys are missing is the smells of the burnt cracker, the smells of the yummy cheese and the bacon cooking, the bread. It was just really amazing. I'd love to share it with you. So we're gonna try a little bit of the jalapeno cheese dip on one of these rosemary crackers. Really good. So I would say that today's brunch menu was a success. I like the limeade. There's only one shrimp mushroom left, a couple of carrots left, and some flatbread and jalapeno cheese dip. So I hope that you'll try these recipes. As you can see, they're super simple to make. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And if you'd like me to cook for you sometime, comment below in the comments and let me know that you'd like to be invited to a cooking class at my house, and I'll be glad to invite you.